What happens when you stop gambling because you want to win and start gambling because you're trying to get your money back? That was the shift for me. At some point, I was no longer chasing the excitement. I was chasing my losses. And the more I lost, the more I believed the next win could fix everything. Hello, everyone. This is Dimples D. Welcome back to the Healing Corner with Dimples D. Healing, hope, and growth. In part one, I talked to you about how gambling addiction started with just $20. It started as an escape. Then I won $750. And that win planted something in my mind. Maybe I could do it again. But this is where my stories start getting deeper. Because after a while, I wasn't going to the casino just to relax anymore. I wasn't going just to have fun. I started going because I needed to win back what I had already lost. And if you ever experience addiction, you may understand this feeling. You lose $100. And instead of saying, okay, I lost $100, let me go home, your mind starts saying, if I put one more $100, maybe I can get the first $100 back. But in actuality, that's $200. Even if they give you back the $100, you're not winning. Then that $200 now becomes $300. And when you add the two of them together, you now down $500. And before you know it, you're not even trying to win anymore. You're trying to undo what had already happened. That was the biggest trap for me. I kept believing the next machine, the next spin, the next bonus, the next big win was going to rescue me. Sometimes I did win, or should I say, sometimes I broke even. And that was part of the problem. Because every time I won, it made me believe I was going to win again and I would keep going. But what I didn't understand was this. A win didn't end the cycle. Sometimes the win gave me more money to keep gambling because I would never walk out the casino and go home. I could walk into the casino saying, I'm only going to spend this much. But once that money was gone, that plan quickly went out the door. I would tell myself, just a little bit more. Then I'm going to get it back. Then I can't leave now because I'm already down too much. And that thinking became so dangerous. Eventually, gambling started affecting decisions that I would never had made before. Money that had another purpose started becoming gambling money. The bills. Money I should have saved. Money I couldn't really afford to lose. And this is where shame started entering into the picture. Because once you begin doing things you know you shouldn't have been doing, you don't always want people asking questions. So you start keeping things to yourself. You stop telling the full story. You may say you spend less than you really spent. You may tell someone, say you're doing it because you win, but you're not telling them how much you have lost. You may say you weren't at the casino as long as you really were. You may tell yourself, I'm going to stop after this one. I'm going to get it back. Nobody needs to know. And little by little, you start living two different lives. The life people see and the life you're trying to hide. Looking back, I can see something now that I could never see then. The money was becoming a problem. But the bigger problem was what gambling was doing to my thinking. I was making decisions based on my emotions, based on panic, based on the hope that one more win could repair the damages. And when I lost, instead of walking away, I wanted to gamble more. That is what caused chasing losses look like for me. Let me say that for the person in the back. That is what chasing losses look like for me. The thing that once helped me escape stress was now creating more stress. The thing I once used to forget my problem was becoming one of the biggest problems. And that is why I decided to share my story. Because somebody may be watching this right now saying, I am not addicted. I'm just trying to get my money back. I understand that thinking all too well. I lived it. But sometimes trying to get the money back is exactly what keeps you trapped. There comes a point when it is no longer about the money. It's about control and whether you still have it. But my story didn't stop there, because gambling eventually began affecting much more than my bank account. It affected relationships, trust, my peace, and how I saw myself. And there were consequences that I never imagined when I first walked into that casino with $20. In part 3, I'm going to talk about what happened when gambling started following me outside the casino. The hiding, the financial damage, the strain on my relationships, and the moments when I had to face just how far this had gone. Because addiction doesn't only affect the person doing it. Eventually, it begins touching the people the people and the things around you. In my story, if my story helps even one person recognize themselves sooner than I did, then sharing it is worth it. Until next time, remember, You don't have to lose everything before you admit something is taking too much from you. Keep healing, keep hoping, and keep growth. Keep growing. One chapter at a time. One love, Dimples D.